Hey, hunting family, you are tuning into the Tracks and Tackle podcast, brought to you by Menser Outdoors.
Hey hunting family, welcome back to Tracks and Tackle. This week we're coming to you straight from hunting camp, gearing up for a 4-day archery hunt in the heart of the rut. The woods are alive, the bucks are moving, and anticipation is at an all-time high. In this episode, we're sharing some of our favorite stories from this season so far and looking ahead to what promises to be an action-packed week at camp. Grab your gear, settle in, you're not going to want to miss this one. Hey there hunting family. It's time to give a shout out to a company that's been keeping our communities moving since 1995. I'm talking about Interstate Garage Doors. For nearly 3 decades, Interstate Garage Doors has been the go-to choice for comprehensive garage door services in South Central PA, as well as the surrounding Hagerstown, Maryland, and Martinsburg, West Virginia areas. And get this, they're not just any company. They're veteran-owned and family-operated, with a proud history of serving both residential and commercial clients. Their professional technicians are the real deal, offering top-notch installations from industry-leading manufacturers and expert repairs for all garage door makes and models. From residential garage doors to overhead doors and openers, Interstate Garage Doors does it all. So whether you're a hardworking contractor building homes or a homeowner looking for service or just needing an upgrade, you can trust Interstate Garage Doors to get the job done right. And hey, they're not just experts in garage doors, they're also experts in giving back to the community, sponsoring podcasts like Tracks and Tackle. Are you ready to experience the Interstate difference for yourself? If so, here's a little something extra for our loyal podcast listeners. Use promo code Tracks and Tackle when you contact Interstate so they know you heard about them here. Just visit igdoors.com today to get an estimate or request service, or give them a call at 717-263-3150. Don't wait, take the first step towards a smoother, more secure garage today. All right, hey folks, welcome back to Tracks and Tackle. We're going old-fashioned here. Got the Hollywood Horse and the Arrow Eagle checking in from the cabin. Been spending November up here at camp, and we broke out the old microphones, and we're just kind of going old school here, just hanging out on a rainy night at the cabin. How you doing, Hollywood?
Doing good, man. It feels great to sit down on this nice, comfy love seat with my buddy here and, break out the camera equipment and, record a bit. But we got the wood stove going. It feels pretty good. I'm shedding some layers and finally starting to thaw out. It was a cold one this morning, so I know you had to work. I took some more time off, so I was actually up here a day before you. I had the wood stove going, let it burn out overnight because I wasn't going to be here, and worked my way to the top of the mountain where I froze. So you didn't really miss too much.
Yeah, not much to report back other than cold and windy.
Yeah, but November, it's here, the rut's in, I would say, and, we're just trying to spend as much time as we can out in these woods chasing them whitetails.
Yeah, so I did make it up today. Like you said, you came up yesterday, so you got a good hunt in today. I don't know, you would call it good, but first thing this morning, I checked into work this morning and took care of some things, on the home front. And I'm getting a text from my man here, and he's sending me video of, these bucks walking up to him. He's passing on these bucks, like, pro hunter, been there, done that. You're like Barry Sanders in the end zone. You're like, I've been here before, and, letting these bucks walk. So good for you. Good on you for that. But definitely you can tell, even in the video you sent me, the wind was blowing where you were sitting.
Yeah, every time on these mountains, because we hunt basically the peak of the backside state. So, I like to hunt the backside, but it all depends. Last year I did a lot of mobile hunting and I was playing the wind. I was on our side if it was windy on the back, and if it's windy on ours, it's not windy on the other side. So I don't know. I've been seeing quite some deer activity. All last week we were up, and every sit I was seeing a deer or two. And then the last sit I saw a whole pile of them. So I'm eager, chomping at the bit to get back to my spot. I got a game plan in my head of what I was going to do, where I wanted to move, and really to get set up in this afternoon. But I start working my way towards the top, and it started blowing and blowing, and I'm just I don't know if I should do this, but just a gut feeling. I was like, I'm gonna get up to my spot, and yeah, sure enough, I get up there. I'm freezing. It's low 30s, and that wind was blowing. I don't know, 10 plus, and then the gusts were hitting real hard. I was getting vertigo that when my tree would shake and rock like I was on a boat. But I got set up, got my warm suit on, and pinned to my tree, and yeah, just sat there waiting. You really couldn't hear much with how much the wind was blowing, but then ultimately I heard some leaves crunching, and here comes this buck trotting up, and by the time I looked up to see what it was, I'm all excited. I see it's nice and tall. It's got a nice wide rack, so get my bow off the rack. I get my camera adjusted to record, and I stand up, and that's when I got a good look at it to realize, hold up, wait a minute, this buck only has 2 antlers on each side. So I'd like to try to pride myself in being an ethical hunter and
yeah,
a law abider. So
we do everything by the book here at Tracks and Tackle.
Yeah. So I just sat down and I tried to get a good shot of it with my phone at least, and I think by that time he slowed up and realized hey, something's going on with that tree over there. So he eventually trotted off, but that was my excitement this morning. It got my heart pounding. It definitely warmed me up, but it was short-lasted with the way that wind was blowing. So it was I don't know. I like to do all-day sits, but around 9 o'clock, I was really starting to freeze with all my layers on. That wind was brutal, so I just readjusted and came to the other side of the mountain. Really warm when that wind's not blowing. Let me tell you, it makes a world of difference. So just came down, set up, and, not too much action on our end, but it was just a good sit. I think anytime you go out in the woods and you see deer, it's a good sit.
So, bro, it's November, like you said. The rut is definitely in full swing. We were up last week, and it was starting to hit. They were starting to chase. And we got some neighbors that stopped in. They took a nice 8-point and asked us to, sort of help get it out of the briar patch. And, so we got some good pictures of that. But you were seeing deer. I mean, in years past, the property that we hunt, it's everywhere that I've gone, there were deer. And, during the rut, you could move from, if I've got 4 different locations that I hunt up here, any day that I go to a different spot, I would see some sort of movement. This year's not been that way for me, but it seems like it was for you. So you just went through your hunt this week. But last week, I mean, you were seeing them move, seeing them run. And then even the week before that, I think you were up pre-rut. I wasn't able to make it. That was late October. And I remember because I was at home taking care of some personal things that needed to be handled. And you were texting me. You got some shooting opportunities a couple weeks ago too. But I don't want to tell your story.
Yeah. Where I'm set up, it's a nice crossing point from one side of the mountain to the other, and I'm covering a valley. I did some research into the topography, and I'm like, all right, there's a valley here we already got covered, and there's another one a little bit further out. So, I just put those together and got set up out there, and my first sit, I saw a lone deer, and this can tie into it too. We're always learning from each other, and why we started this podcast is to grow with the outdoor community, but to bring on guests that know a lot more about this stuff than we do.
Mm-hmm.
But there's tales head down, it's a buck, or if around this time of period, if it's a lone deer, it's probably a button buck. So ultimately, this deer that was by me was by itself. It didn't get close enough to me, but I'm just assuming it's a button buck. But it was a frequent flyer. Each day I feel like it was the same deer because same movement pattern. I'd cheat my tree stand one way, and it would come right where I was before. I just couldn't get in the right spot to really get close to this deer. And everybody tells me, don't overthink it, just commit to a spot, because if you're always trying to, make that next step, you're always going to regret the past spot. But that's who I am. You learn from your time in the woods. I feel like I finally got a good pattern down where I can be in one spot or the other. So I just need to make my mind up. But yeah, frequently seeing that deer. And the last day, I guess it was Saturday. Yeah, this in the evening, I think it was 3 or 4 does came working down the mountain just out of range of me. So I'm like, crap. But, it's enough to get the heart pumping. I was excited. I'm seeing deer. I'm in the woods. That's all I asked for. It makes the long sits a lot better when you're seeing stuff. And then, towards the sun was going down, starting to get dark, they were walking at me head on. I'm like, all right, sweet. It was just like a movie. I was able to get my camera on them, get in position, get set up. They're working their way towards me. I'm waiting. I'm like, all right, I'm going to let them walk past me a little bit. It was two, I don't know, they're probably second or third year does, and they had a skipper with them. So I was just watching. I'm like, this lead one, all right. And starts to work in front of me, and then the one behind, I'm like, well, that one might be a little bit bigger. So it comes a nitpick, and they're probably about the same size. But I'm like, all right, let me wait for this one. But the last one locked eyes with me, so I'm like, all right, crap, it's now or never. So I switched back to the first deer. I don't know, it felt like it was 20 yards away, maybe 25, a little bit uphill. Ultimately, I did get a shot off. It was where it needed to be, but I had my yardage wrong, so it just went under it. Luckily, I missed it. Mistakes happen in the woods, but I was just glad to know that I didn't wound that animal where it got away. So they got away, made a mistake there. The fawn ended up hanging around, so I just put my bow down and watched it. But it's good to know my spot. I'm frequently seeing deer, and they're moving through. So looking forward to this week coming. That's where I'm going to be at, and be a little bit more disciplined and try to hone into my yardage a little bit better.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of good video out of that stand. I haven't, punched the tag yet, I guess I would say, but getting a lot of good video, deer moving through there. They're going through that corridor, so it's just a matter of time before, you got one that comes through and you punch your tag.
Yeah, and I'm thinking worst comes to worst. If it comes to rifle season, I got a lot more range, and
there's a lot can be compensated for in rifle season. That's for sure.
I'm not worried about that when that comes, but yeah, I'm eager this week. Like I said, today wasn't the best. The morning was good, besides the wind. We did have a rain shower come through basically all afternoon. I tried to brave it. Suit worked good, but just after a while, light drizzle catches up with you, especially when the cabin's only 100 yards away, where you can see a dry shelter.
Yeah, you can think of warmth whenever you get inside. It's just us tonight hanging out at camp. Like I said, I came up this evening. It's sort of a rainy, soggy afternoon, so not a whole lot to be done outside. We got more guys from the gang coming up tomorrow, so we'll go out. We'll probably do a little bit of hunting in the morning, and we got other guys coming into camp probably around noon, and so certainly going to be a lot of opportunity. More guys on the hill means potentially more movement of deer, and it also could mean the deer aren't going to be moving because there's activity on the hill. So we'll see. I think there's some other guys in neighboring camps here, like our neighbors, that'll be up this weekend. I don't know why they wouldn't be, because it's the right time, man. I mean, I see deer all over the highway. We were sitting here last week. I was talking with my dad and Brady, and we were talking about, I was saying the rut's kicking in, and my dad was saying, not yet. I don't see them along the road. The deer laying along the road. Well, I run different roads than he does, and I've been seeing them laying along the road. But even on the way home, I think we saw 2 of them laying along the road, been hit by cars. Which you hate to see, but it happens this time of year. I mean, these deer get so focused on, chasing doe that they run right out in front of the automobile. So it's definitely full swing. I really'd like to see you get an opportunity to punch your tag on a nice buck. We got our bucks from last year, sitting here. We did Euro mounts last January. And we were waiting until this season to sort of ceremonially hang them on the wall.
Inauguration.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just us two tonight, and we figure we probably ought to wait for the rest of the gang to get up here before we pick our spot on the wall and put these nice bucks, in their final resting place and hang them on the wall. But it's just that time of year. We're getting a lot of pictures. Our buddies are sending us pictures. Our friends are having success, and yeah, I'm excited. So we're going to get a couple of guys on here in the next episode or two to start, telling some stories and sort of get the rest of the hunting family downloading how their hunt's been. For me, I want to say, I've had a couple of opportunities. That's some doe. Had opportunity at a nice little buck, a little basket rat buck. Haven't been able to punch my tag on either of those yet, and it's just been a typical archery season. But this weekend, all bets are off. It's the best time of year. It's the last week of archery. This will be the last weekend of archery, but you can hunt throughout
Right.
the week next week. So if I'm not successful this weekend at camp, I'm going to be hunting locally this week. Get as much miles on the tires as I possibly can, because in October, I took it a little bit light, which I covered a little bit of that in our last episode where I did a solo episode, but I didn't spend a lot of time because there's a particular buck that we've had on camera that it would just be amazing if he came out and we had an opportunity at one of him. There's two or three nice ones up here on the properties that we hunt, but once you get a bunch of hunters in the woods,
All bets are off.
all bets are off. I mean, certainly the rut changes things, it changes patterns. We're not seeing them on camera like we were earlier in the year, but the big thing for me is you get other hunters up here on the hill, and it changes their moving patterns as well. So I don't know. We just got to go deep in the woods, which I think you and I do.
Yeah, I think ultimately, the more time you spend in the woods, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of downtime where you're not seeing anything. But the more time you're out there, the more time you're gonna have opportunity. So that was me today. Like in the rain, I'm like, well, what else am I gonna do? So I just kind of hung out there. It didn't pay off for me, but statistically speaking, the more you're out there, the more chance of success you're gonna have. So I'm eager for these next few days. I know the weather's gonna be a little bit colder, so they might be moving a little bit more, but I'm eager to get out here, and it's tough to think, but archery season's almost done, and
I
just
know.
hunting season as
It's
a
flown
whole,
by.
we're probably more than halfway done.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's nice to reflect on, hey, we are seeing some deer movement. You did punch a doe tag early in the
Real early
yeah
on.
early first day, but there's a lot more to go. But yeah, it's getting to be crunch time where if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
We make up for it in rifle season if we don't. I mean, I think we're a lot more picky in archery, but for me, I want to ask you this question. All right, so this is the last weekend for archery. We're up at our hunting camp. Ideal situation. We got more guys coming up tomorrow, part of the camp to hunt with us. What would be an ideal situation, like perfection? What's utopia in your mind for this weekend?
This weekend, as I touched on, like I just want to see deer when I'm in the stand, but it'd be cool to get a shot off. I'm not particular whether it's one of our target bucks or a small rack buck that's legal or even a doe. But for me personally, it's always more fun when someone else has action, just to see their excitement and just the joy it brings to camp. So, nothing warms you up more when you're cold in the woods, but one of your buddies lets you know, like, hey, we got a blood trail to go. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So it gives you an excuse to get out and move. But yeah, ultimately just success of others around us, and more stories to tell when we're at camp when you get back is the ideal for me. So I don't know, what do you got in your mind?
So what I'm hearing is we want to put meat in the freezer, right? So we're not just we maybe where we were a little bit more selective earlier this year in the year. Right now we're hunting, and so final weekend we got one more full week, but like I said, I think rut's in full swing. So not opposed to shooting a doe. Is what I'm
Here's
getting at.
one better for you. So this Sunday in Pennsylvania, we're allowed to hunt. So I think it'd be ideal if we all get it taken care of, and we can take care of processing our deer on Sunday rather than getting out Sunday morning. That would be ideal.
All right, now you're talking my language. So we're recording on a Thursday night. We're gonna have an all day Friday, and we're gonna have all day Saturday to punch a few tags. We got a couple more guys coming up on Friday midday, and if there'll be 4 guys in camp. So if we could leave with 2 or 3 deer and process them, go head home to the butcher shop and do a little bit of meat processing on Sunday, that would be a successful weekend.
Yeah, let's lay the hammer down.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to belabor that. I'm excited. I think for me, I'm with you. I want to see other guys have some success. Certainly, I take the opportunities that present themselves to me. Like, I'm not shy to let the arrow fly. I want to pluck the string, and so seeing deer when you're in the stand is without a doubt the goal. But if I don't see any movement, and we get some of you younger guys, if you guys have success, I think that would make I'd probably be happier to see you guys be successful this weekend than myself, because I know. Look, we'll make up for it. I've already got some meat in the freezer, and there's always rifle season. So perfection for me would be everybody gets a chance and gets to bring something home. That rarely happens when you have a weekend like that, although we have had those opportunities.
A lot of fun when it's like that.
Yeah, when you start to double up or triple up, and everybody in camp gets in on it, it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, but I think for me, I'd love to see you guys get some success or even see deer. It's tough when you got hunters that go out. They don't hunt as much as we do probably, and they come up to camp and they don't see anything. And so seeing movement when you're in the stand, even if you don't get to shoot, makes a big difference. It makes it easier for that long sit, especially on a cold day. Like you said, you get warmed up, your blood's pumping, when your heart starts beating a little bit whenever that deer come through.
Yeah, me personally, I have not checked off, getting one with the compound. I've had a few opportunities when I was younger, but it comes to the dedication and spending time in the off season, really getting comfortable with it. So, when I was young, immature, rushed a few shots, and even now as I'm older, just opportunity presents itself. You have to execute. That target's a lot smaller than, shooting at the bag. But that's a big thing that I want to accomplish, whether it's this year or next year, is I want to get one on the ground with the bow. And then another big one is I'm getting more and more into self-recording. I've upgraded my equipment along the way. And
right.
As you know, Ron, it's a big challenge to do both.
Tough.
Sometimes you have to decide one or the other. It's tough to do in between. So I think, whether it's rifle or this weekend with archery or, even in the next year, just really having that perfect scene come in where you can capture it all and have the pre, the during, and the post. But that's just so challenging. Why don't you tell us some challenges that you face when you're trying to? Because I know you're in the same boat with me. As we have our YouTube page, and we have some other social media where we share some content. But yeah, there's challenges to face along the way when it comes to self-recording.
Yeah, so the YouTube channel, it's a lot easier to put out shorts, right? Because certainly we can get glimpses of deer, short commentary, and that's kind of where we've had some success as far as viewership and subscribers and things of that nature. And the shorts are fun to watch, because we laugh at ourselves and it's highlights, and we're having fun. I'm just trying to capture this as we do go through hunting. But that's self-recording. We've tried really hard to document this year because I have you recording, I'm recording. We've got buddies that are also, quote unquote, I'd call them part of the pro staff team, that are sending us video and picture, and people are sort of embracing this, what we refer to as the hunting family. Like, if you're listening to the show and you're following our stories that we're sharing, and you sort of become part of the hunting family. Like,
yeah,
all these people, these guests that come on. We just had Otis Lambright came on a couple of weeks ago, a few episodes back. He sent me a picture this week. He took a nice buck and sent me his picture, and you become part of the hunting family once you've come on the show. And so anyway, long story short, we're recording and trying to self-record and document our journey through the year. And we've done a couple of hunting vlogs where you sort of just check in. And here's the thing for me, because I have fun editing those videos and putting them up, short 4 or 5 minute videos, 8-minute video, whatever it might be, of us hunting. It's really difficult in the terrain that we hunt in Pennsylvania. We put a lot of hours out in the forest and the woods.
Yeah, I think too, a big thing, the terrain to hunt on that. We're not hunting big fields. Most of it's mountain terrain. So by the time you realize, hey, this animal's coming in and you got to get all your gear ready, it's go time, or it's too late, or you can't move stuff around.
You got a split second to try to capture that animal that's moving through. I think of like some of these really big bucks out in the Midwest, in like Iowa and Illinois and Missouri and Nebraska. Like, I'd love to hunt those type of bucks, and you got it everywhere, right? Where there are mature bucks on big farms. And look, we're in the East. We're in Pennsylvania. There are a ton of hunters in Pennsylvania. And the deer are here, but we're hunting different terrain. And so we don't see deer every single time we go out and sit. Frankly, seeing bucks, like a lot of times you get little bucks that'll come through, like little scrub bucks, like we've been seeing on camera, who've been frequenting through. Those big bucks, especially once hunting season starts and you got more hunters in the forest, they go deep into the woods, and they'll come out at night. They'll, go out into the fields and feed. And so you got to catch them either on their way from bedding to feed, or from feeding going back to their bedding locations. And that's the same no matter where you're hunting, but where we hunt, you got to catch them en route, and it's like first thing or last thing in the morning until rut kicks in.
Just right place, right time.
It is. It really is right place, right time. They're creatures of habit. We do pattern them. We know where they travel. Their corridors are, but all bets are off right now. It's you want to be wherever a doe moves through, and hope some big boys trailing through behind. So it's tough to self-record, but I would say 4 out of 5 hunts, if I did a video for every single hunt that we did, 4 out of 5 hunts would be just me talking to the camera and, no activity. You've got some good activity where you've been hunting this past, month or so. You're getting some good video of deer moving through, and that's great filler. But we're just trying to tell the story, and it's fun. It's like I started hunting archery with a cell phone camera, and was able to harvest a small deer. Some of you guys maybe heard the story before, but I didn't get the shot, right? I had to stop filming. I had to draw my bow, shoot the deer, and then film the after, like you said, the before and the after, but not the during.
Mm-hmm.
And so even now, we've upgraded equipment a little bit. We got Tacticams on our bows, and we got different cameras set up. We could talk through that actually, the different setups that we got. But I got a camera with a zoom. I've got a Tacticam above me watching me. I got a Tacticam on my bow. I've got my cell phone. But catching that shot is still not even the greatest, even with the tools that I've upgraded to, just the recoil on the bow.
Yeah.
It's not always like a clear shot. We're far from professionals, but we enjoy doing it, and so we're documenting the journey along the way. So if you guys are interested in seeing the ups, the downs, and the in between, then check out the YouTube channel. But it's not all big bucks all the time. Like we don't have that type of action.
It's been fun too. We took a hunt or two this year, and it seems like each year we take a hunt and we basically just sit together. Like it's a lot easier when you have a cameraman.
Yeah.
But we haven't had that perfect situation come in. This year was nice. sat down in the morning. You had your tree stand already set up, and I got my climber on a tree basically as your neighbor. And ultimately, we saw a spike buck pretty far away, but cool to be together and basically share that moment together. But it's bound to happen, and man, that's going to be a good feeling when we sit together and we lay the hammer down.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's. I guess it's a lot easier when you do have a cameraman.
Good cameraman always brings snacks.
Yeah, rule number one of having a cameraman is good cameraman will bring snacks to the stand. No doubt.
Preferably Little Debbie's.
Well, hey guys, I appreciate everybody for listening. You sort of listen to us tell our stories and, talk about our hunting and everything. And as I've been reiterating in the past couple of episodes, I want to hear from you. So if you consider yourself part of the hunting family, on our podcast, there is a text feature. I want to get some texts and some interaction with the audience. So try that out. It just basically says send a text. And tell us what your hunting setup is. Tell us, I want to know if you guys self-film. Love to see your pictures. Hopefully you guys are having success out there this year, and we want to see those pictures and celebrate with you. So the hunting season, we're getting through archery, but it's not over. There's still a lot to go. And I'm going to say next week, archery in Pennsylvania ends, and then bear season kicks in. We'll have a week of bear hunting, and then we're going to get into rifle. Going to be close to Thanksgiving by then. So I don't know when we'll publish this episode, but it's going to be close.
Sometime soon, hopefully. But yeah, this is our journey. We like to share it and grow, but as we touched on, we're extending our arms out for the hunting family. We want to hear from you. We want you guys to be part of our journey too, and just to grow and learn from each other. And we all got a story to share. It's ultimately what it comes down to, and we all can learn from each other. So yeah, give us some feedback, let us know, and yeah, we'd like to hear from you guys.
Tell us what you want to hear too from us, because we can sit and shoot the breeze, which is basically what we do. We'll find some unique characters to come on the show with us, and we have good fun, and we're growing the hunting family by doing that. But if there's a topic or a subject you want discussed, let's do it, or reach out. We want to engage. So you can find us on YouTube. You can find us anywhere on socials, anywhere you hear your podcast. Share it, tell a friend, and like always, man, we just say be safe and stay wild.